Come to your seat. Sit well. Lengthen the spine. Just feel what it's like. Kind of work your way out of your pelvis. It's like you're trying to grow up out of the pelvic bowl there. Lengthening through the side body. Lift, shrug the shoulders slightly. Move the head of the arm bones gently back, not harshly back. And then press out as though someone has their hands on the outside of your upper arms. And you're just gently pressing into those hands to broaden the collarbones, broaden across the top of the shoulder blades. Move the neck and head a little bit to release any tension, wiggle the jaw, move the top and bottom of the ears back evenly. You're pressing the center back of the head back. And rest into this. Imagine that you are leaning back into this beautiful cushion. Fashion it whatever way beautiful sounds to you. And it's so soft and so supporting. It's the universe supporting you. On Wednesday is the winter solstice. And that's the shortest day, longest night, the most darkness. So as the eyes are closed, go deeply into the darkness. So when we come upon this longest darkness, and even as the days began to get darker, I found myself resisting it, wishing for the earlier sunrises or the sunrises when I woke up. But certainly as we move right into this period on Wednesday of the darkest night, it's natural to resist it, to fill it with light, to fill it with activities. So I think that's why in many ways, all of the festivities around the holidays can exhaust us so much, because nature, the seasons are asking us to go dark, to settle back into the darkness. And it's a respite for healing and rejuvenation. And it's our challenge to embrace this restorative pause in all its forms, because it can enhance our lives when we go with the flow of the seasons. Wendell Berry has a poem, "To go in the dark with a light is to know light. To know the dark, go dark. Go without sight and find that the dark too blooms and sings and is traveled by dark feet and dark wings." Draw your palms together in front of the heart center. One soft Om, inhale. Om. So the one nice thing about being in this studio is there's no light coming in, so we can do this one. So the first one, again, I'm waking you back up, is a restorative child. And a nice way to do this is to pad your knees. We'll be here for about 3 or 4 minutes. And widen the knees apart. I recommend, you can do this with the bolster flat on the ground, but it's kind of nice to do it with the zipper side down so you don't get a zipper print. A slight incline here. So the blocks are low to middle to make a little incline. And if you don't have that, you can also put several blankets on top of the blocks. You can bring in a bunch of big pillows from your bed if you want, for those at home. And then you widen the knees apart and get that bolster as close in between your legs as possible. And then you rest and turn your head to one side. And I'll lift up a bit because it muffles the sound here. And rest the arms on either side, palms up. And just breathe here. And notice that the way you've turned your head is probably your favorite way to turn it. And we'll change it in a bit, but keep it where it is for now. Into the bolster, into the blankets, whatever you use on the pillows. This is like a little hibernation pose, a fetal position. On your next inhale, turn your head to the second favorite side. And this may take a little bit of adjustment because we're not used to it. And see if you can get comfortable here. And just breathe. Think about 2 more deep, full breaths where you are. And slowly press up. And come to hands and knees, move your bolster out of the way. And some nice, luxurious cat-cows, flexion, extension, stretching through all the joints, some slow, easy, gentle, fluid movements. You can add some hip circles if the body is asking for some hip circles or side to sides. Just listen. So that's what living with seasons is. We're not very good in it in our culture because we have so much ability to hide the season. Like we eat vegetables and fruits out of season because we can. So we lose that sense of seasonality, except for all the pumpkins when they pop out in October. And the next time you come through center, pause. And if you're feeling tight, you can place your right hand on a block. Just gives you a little more room when we're threading the needle. If you feel congested and super tight, then come up on the block. Otherwise, we're not staying down. We're just threading under and inhaling up. Exhale, threading under. Reach as much as you can underneath and inhale up. Do this at your own pace of breath, as slowly as your breath will let you go. Under and up. Place the left hand down, change hands. Stretch up and exhale under. Reach. Maybe your head taps the floor, but maybe it doesn't. But it doesn't put weight down on your head. It just maybe touches, maybe doesn't. And if you keep your hips over your knees, you have a lot more room. If you're back here, you can't get under. So you want to be up a bit to give yourself some space. Oh. And finish up. Even yourself on this side. And come down onto your forearms. You can hold a block between your hands, so between the palms. And walk your elbows out so your hips are a little in front. Your hip sockets are a little in front of your knees. The elbows are about outer shoulder width apart. Hug the elbows towards each other and push the block like crazy. So the thumbs are pointing up to the ceiling, baby finger on the floor, palms pressing into the block.
Keep that. Hug the shoulder blades on the back. So soften between the shoulder blades. Try to make a wrinkle in the back of your t-shirt. Keep that, but lift your belly button up, lift your side ribs up, especially you who are extra flexible. And then move the chest back, the shoulders move back. So it should be a really upper back. The head may or may not touch the floor. Depends on how flexible you are, but don't dive the head to the floor. So you're not dropping the head down. Shift back until, and if you need to walk your knees back, do that. Keep going back, keep going back, keep going. Go, Sarah, walk your knees back, walk your knees back. More, 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 more. Now you have some room to go back. And the head can lengthen a little bit. Don't lift it, drop it just a bit, Sarah. Drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. Yeah, so you want the front of the neck and the back of the, front of the throat and the back of the neck to be equally long. This should be pretty intense. Are you having trouble on your knee there, Michelle? Yeah, that's okay. I saw you lift to the side and I thought, whoops. Okay, inhale and come up. Right, we'll come back to that in a bit. Plant your hands, tuck your toes, and come into downward facing dog. Oh, and walk the dog. I don't know about you, but that's pretty tight there. So let's just loosey-goosey it up. Yeah. All right. Walk your feet mat width apart. As you walk your hands back, so your feet come to the floor, bend your knees, wide air chair, so wide squat, wide-legged, half wide-legged squat, and get low and stretch it out, pull it out, pull it out. Make those quads scream just a tiny bit. And using the legs from the core of the pelvis, exhale and push down, inhale as you rise up. Whew. Now we're warm, right? Michelle may be wanting, she may want that on oscillate now. And I'm fine with it now too. Yeah. All right, step to the top of your mat, have your blocks there. Move your blankie out of the way. Let's get warmer. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, fingertips on the blocks. Stretch the left leg back, straight leg lunge. And you can slide your blocks high, medium, low. You don't have to use the blocks, but what's important is that the upper back does not round. So using the blocks gives me a little extra juice. Back leg is straight, front leg bent. Heart's moving forward. Exhale, bend the back knee, straighten the front. Whoa, sorry, I almost got a little jolt there. And inhale, come back to lunge. Exhale, straighten, bend. Oh, stay there. And next inhale, bend, straighten. Back and forth at your own pace, but pause where it's tight, where it's hard, just for a couple of beats, not a long hold, but just to not bounce off of the sensation, to stay with it a little bit, to listen to it. Yes, ma'am. It's getting my attention. All right, the next time you come to lunge, plant your left hand. So if your right leg is forward, plant your left hand on the block, right hand on the top of the right thigh. Back leg stays strong. It wants to collapse. So you're pushing back through the back heel, lifting through the inner edge of the back thigh and spinning the heart. Stretch the arms straight up, reach for the ceiling. Heart goes to the ceiling. Take the head back, the whole upper body back, lean on the left hand a little more, but then pull away from the block, even though the weight is still on the left hand. And release. Take your blocks and walk your hands to the center and parallel the feet. Blocks can be high, medium, low, whatever you need. Lift all 10 toes and work to the four corners of the feet, particularly the outer edge. Am I the only one feeling a big stretch on the outer ankle when I do that? That feels very tight for me. All right, then extend the toes, but keep lifting the arches, particularly the inner arch, and bow forward. And inhale, come halfway up. So you're just on the blocks with the arms straight. Exhale, bend the arms and tilt your sits bones up, pelvis down. And inhale, so a little up and down from the hip socket. So it's not an upper back move. The upper back's not changing. It's the same as it always is. Hopefully long extended and not rounded. All right, then take your blocks, turn your left toes to the short edge of the mat, and you guys will be facing the back of the room. Spin your back heel up, come to lunge on this side. Oh, yeah. Bend, straighten, straighten, bend. Exhale when you straighten the front leg. Inhale when you bend the front leg. Stay light as you can on the blocks, and lengthen the spine. So while the legs are working, don't forget that you're not rounding and arching the back. The back is staying long, neutral. And then the next time you come into lunge, place your left hand down on the block, high, medium, or low. The right hand on the block, sorry, and the left hand on the top of your left thigh. And not turning the head first. Keep the back leg strong. It wants to drop. And lift your outer right hip. It wants to roll under you. Pull the belly button up and in. Pull the ribs back. Spin the heart. And then the head begins to turn. Stretch the arm towards the ceiling, fingertips towards the ceiling. And breathe. And release. Spin back around to wide-legged stance. And come up like a half forward bend. And then a little slight turnout of the feet, not a big turnout, but not quite parallel. Bend the right knee and the left leg is straight. A low wide squat. Come back up, bend the left knee. But keep the inner arches lifted and the baby toe side of the foot down. Back and forth, easy going. If you feel pain in the knee, then don't push it beyond where you're going. Feel more the stretch in the inner thigh that's straight. And the next time you're through center, pause. Walk the block, turn your right foot to face the short edge, spin your back heel up, and step back plank pose. And lower down knees, chest, and chin. Or full chaturanga. Rest your forehead on your stacked hands. And just take a moment with the belly on the floor. Into the darkness. Release the front body into the earth. And then with the forehead on the floor, walk your fingertips out off your mat into prepare for Spider-Man Cobra. Stretch your legs long behind you. If your low back, it feels tight, because you do not want to do this in the low back. Widen the feet about mat width apart and do a nice inner rotation of the thighs, and be sure to click the baby toenail down as well. All 10 toenails. Baby toenail, spread the toes, don't clench them. Pull from the heels to the glutes. And the belly button lifts, tailbone lengthens. Shrug the shoulders towards your ears, then lift the head of the arm bones, the shoulders up away from the ground. So you feel this in the upper back. Belly button pulls up and then tailbone lengthens. That's how you keep it out of the back to use your legs. The side body is as long as it's going to get. So then keep lifting the head of the arm bones until the head just hovers off the floor. It's not a big one. It's not a big upper back bend, just a little. With each inhale, lift up a smidge more. And notice when you do that, do your baby toenails pull off the floor? Mine do. So keep them down, use the core more to lift, and exhale, you lower a little bit, about a half an inch, and inhale, you lift about an inch. And the next time you come down all the way, plant your hands, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. So where dog begins to feel almost like a resting pose. And then come all the way down on your hands and knees again. So we'll do a little bit more working the upper back. So as the weather gets cold, we tend to round more and come in. So
in the wintertime, I like to do a lot of gentle upper back opening kind of work. You can always put a blanket under your knees, but definitely if your elbows bite into the floor. And here, bring your block back, press the block between your hands. So the baby fingers are on the floor, the thumbs are pointing up, and you're in the wide level of the block. Push the block, hands into the block, walk your knees back behind you, soften between your shoulder blades. So melt the heart. And often we will collapse in the waist and tilt the hips too much. So keep it soft in the upper back, but then pull the side ribs up more, just the side ribs. Tailbone lengthens, belly button pulls in. Push the block, don't lose the push, and lift the knees and walk the feet out into a forearm plank. Do you notice how I just gave up the push on the block as soon as I straightened my legs? So see if you can keep that. And then walk your feet close together and lift the left leg, just about an inch. Not much, just enough for the right leg to know that it's on its own. Breathe, hover, hold, lower the left foot. Now do the same thing to the left leg. Lift the right leg just enough so the left leg knows that it's holding it all. Soften, notice if you're hardening in the upper back. Keep softening the shoulders. Pull the belly button up and in and lower. Whew. Rest all the way on your belly. Windshield wiper your legs as you wish. Plant your hands, tuck your toes, lift into downward facing dog. Walk your feet mat width apart, bend your knees and walk your hands back to your feet. Come into that low squat, public bathroom squat, and stretch it out. So your knees are staying as far back. They're not pushing forward. The knees are staying way, way back. Shift your bum back. This is how you should reach for a low ball in pickleball, get down. The problem is, can I get back up? Push down, rise up. Whew. All right. You hit a lamp. That's good. I don't mind it being a little, that's off with you. Okay. There you go. There you go. That's why Jerry and I play pickleball. It keeps the violence out of the home. All right. Step forward. And stand for a moment. So you should feel a tiny bit of tingling. We've been moving the blood around a little bit. Heats up a bit. So just enjoy it. And inhale, rise up. Exhale, bow forward. Can use your blocks if you need to. We won't stay down long in a low lunge. Step your left leg back and spin the back foot down so the whole foot is down. Bring the hands to the front thigh. The hips are at a diagonal. The shoulders are parallel with the short edge of your mat where your front foot, your right foot is facing. Now engage the legs so you're both pulling in and pushing out with the same fervor. So you feel that steadiness. If you do more of one than the other, then you're unbalanced. So you pull in. What? Hurry? Fervor. Fervor, fervor, fervor?
Haven't heard anyone use that word.
Oh, fervor. Did I use it correctly? I don't even remember. Is it that stuff that the cat left or what? All right. Jill's teasing me about using fervor. All right. Just stay here longer then. All right. So hands on the front thigh and pull in. So it's like you're doing a little contraction. It's not the same thing as slumping, right? This contraction is using the legs so much, sliding the side waistline back, side ribs back, and pulling back. So you feel kind of nice stretch in the middle back there. And then inhale, lift up, interlace the hands behind the back, and stretch up, bend the front knee. It tends to straighten up at that point. Curl back, work the outer edge of the back foot a lot, as well as the front foot, push the front heel down. And then keeping that, slowly bow into the darkness, right? Try to move towards your front instep.
Maybe drop the head all the way if you're feeling like you won't crash. Lift your arms way overhead. Try to take them down to the floor. They won't go, but the legs have to support you, have to stay steady. Slowly inhale as you come up. I know. Did you lose it? Yeah, I know. It's like, I don't know if I can get up. That's where you release your hands and use them, right? Windmill over, step back to dog. And in dog, if it's comfortable for you, close the eyes, go dark, go into the dark. Oh, shut up, Jerry. Jerry just moaned. And on your next inhale, oh, haul your left foot forward. Spin the back foot down. Come up. All right. So what will happen a lot, our body just not sure what we're doing if we know what we're doing. You'll start to roll on the inner arch. So work to the outer edge of the back foot. Really strengthen the back leg a lot. And then this bow contract. So you push on the top of the thigh here a fair bit, bend the elbows out just a little bit, pull the tailbone moves down, the side waist moves back, side ribs move back. It's a lot of work. If this is easy, then engage a little bit more. Pull it back. Then inhale, lift, interlace the hands the second favorite way, and stretch back. So immediately to get my hands, I often straighten or semi-straighten the front leg. That's okay to do that to get steady. Work the back leg for your steadiness, then bend the front knee so it just comes over the ankle, and then curl back. You should feel a pretty good stretch across the front of the back thigh, the quadricep. Work the outer edge of the back foot a lot. And then keeping the hands clasped, slowly with control, the legs, I find if I push apart a little more than pull in, I have more steadiness. And then get the arms overhead, go deep, go dark, go deep. Pause. And release. Step back, downward facing dog. Shift forward, plank pose. Lower down, chaturanga or knees, chest, and chin. Oh. Plant your hands under your shoulders, spread the fingers, shrug the shoulders towards your ears, lift the head of the arm bones away from the floor, stretch your legs back, widen them if you need to, baby toenails down too, spread the toes, pull from the heels to the glutes, tailbone down to the heels. Keep that, pull the side ribs up, pull the belly up, and come into your form of cobra. Notice the baby toe wants to peel off immediately. Press back, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, straight leg lunge. Now you can start this with the back knee down, and you can stay with the back knee down, but the back knee is behind your hip, not right under your hip. So go for the fun. Shift forward. All right, first version of this. Right foot is forward, left arm is on the outside of the left leg, right hand on the right hip. So an open twist. Steady the legs, pull together and push apart the same way. Belly button lifts up and in, tailbone down, side ribs back, and begin to spin. This is more of a bound twist, so we'll go even deeper in it. If you wish to, take the elbow to the outside. You got to move breakfast on the other side now. And then plant the hands. You're pressing the hands, and the top hand is pushing more down so that the hands, the thumbs, come right to your sternum. You don't want them in your right armpit. Yeah, so that means the torso has to spin. That's fine. Tell him he's fine. Okay, push down and spin the sternum towards your thumbs. Push the thumbs down towards your sternum. If you have it and want it, straighten the back leg. Woo, doggy. And then release.
Step back, downward facing dog. Step the left foot forward, lower the back knee. Back knee is as far behind the hip as you can. Don't have it right under it. So come upright. The first version is the right hand to the outside of the left knee. Now it wants to push it in, but can't stand up. Come on, stand up. The left knee is pushing out against the hand. The arm is not being too bossy. And then pull the belly up and in. See, okay? And our children. Then a nice deep. Did he need a certificate? A trophy? So notice where your thumbs are and notice where your sternum is. So how do you get them closer together? Push more with the top hand and then pull the sternum around, more twist. Then maybe lift the back knee if you're feeling crazy. I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted. And release, downward facing dog. Two more standing poses. Step your right foot forward, straight leg lunge. Find your blocks. Spin the back foot down. Put the block on the outside of your front foot. Light on the fingertips, bend the front knee, and open. The left hand on the left hip, stack your shoulders. Spin the heart, move the sternum up to the ceiling. Oh yeah. And then turn towards your front leg. Take both blocks. I like to spin the back heel up and step the back heel up a tiny bit to give yourself some space. Straighten both legs. The opposite of bend. All right. Now steady the legs, the heel, the higher the heel, the happier you're going to be on this. You can start to lower the heel eventually, but start with it high. Press down into the front foot. Scissor the legs and push them apart. The left hand stays on the block. I recommend the high end of the block unless your hamstrings are super loose. The right thumb is into the outer right hip and pulling the outer right hip back, but don't let that pull off the inside edge of your front foot. And then spin your heart towards the right. So it's the heart, not the head. Oh, is anybody but me feeling this? That gets into IT band and the hamstrings. Oh, and release. Whew. Let's reverse that a separate way though, but step forward. Step the right leg back, keep the heel up. We'll just back into the Parsvakonasana in a bit. So the front leg is straight here. The right hand is on the block. The left thumb is into the left hip crease. Keep the back heel high and the back leg is as straight as the front leg. And keep pressing with the left hand to keep the outer left hip back as you rotate the ribs around. Rotate ribs, rotate ribs, rotate ribs. Not the head, so don't try to strain with the head. It's the heart that needs to move up and over and out. Oh, and then come back, spin the back foot down, put your left hand on the block on the outside of the left foot, bend the front knee, right hand onto the right hip, spin the heart towards the right, towards the wall to your right, and then stretch the right arm up. Okay, and release. Whew. All right, what would the holiday season be without the frog? All right, here's how I recommend setting up. Set up behind me here. I recommend 2 blankets. This is how they come off the stack, and they're placed the long way so your legs can fit on them. And I start them together, they're on the floor, so that when I get back here and put my knees on them, flex them out, then I can come down, right? Like that. And I can see whether or not my feet are parallel or not. So if you're on a rug, at home, God help you, I don't know. Maybe put a silk scarf under your knees or something that might help you get slippery. Saran wrap, I don't know. Okay, so take this easy. So you're doing an outer rotation in the lower legs because you're on the instep. The feet are flexed. Flex your feet, Michelle. Michelle, if you turn the blankets the long way so that you're touching Patricia's mat with, there you go. Then you have, you're padded the whole leg. Now your knees are up at the top of the blanket and you bring them out, bring the shins out, come down onto your forearms, and then slowly let yourself slide out. Happy baby. Oh yeah, okay, right, it might, yes, happy baby. This is a form of happy baby, so do it on your back if this is hurting anything. Now, volume control here when you're belly down is to shift your hips forward. If you shift your hips back, do you notice how that increases? Oh yeah, getting a cramp. So you still have to, the blankets, the nice thing about the blankets is you still have to pull your knees back into the midline or your knees will go sliding off into somewhere. So you still have to engage the muscles around the hip socket so that you're not loosening, straining into them. Yeah, just, yeah, half frog works. Sarah just moved to half frog. Full happy baby. All right. Yeah, that's good.
What's the best equivalent?
Yeah,
This
so-
feels like it's more the equivalent.
No, this is more the equivalent. Hold here, hold here, hold here. It's the
Okay.
obstetric. Now push up against it. There you go. Oh, yeah.
That was good.
Now, if you can hold the feet, that's fine. Otherwise, I can get you a strap to put around them. But what you don't want is this, right? You want to be able to get, there you go. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, but bend your knees, but push. You're not trying to straighten, but you're pushing against it. Okay, come out of that if you haven't had the sense to do that already. Sarah, do your other side if you need to. Okay. And, oh yeah, child's pose, anything you need to release the screaming. And then come up for a 90-90 little hip opener. Because we're going to go dark in a minute. Okay. Nice, long, supported, restorative. Okay. So come into 90-90, have blocks near you as you need them. So pick a leg, it doesn't really matter. We've got two, we'll get to them eventually. All right. So just explore for you. You guys have been doing this for a while. Where is the best stretch for you? Is it straight over the front thigh? Not the easiest stretch, the best stretch. Or is it off at a diagonal? So figure out where you are. Personally, I find the deepest stretch to go straight out, to cut straight over across the shin with my jacket zipper, and then push the foot into a hand or a block and push it back to go deep. And then inhale and switch it. So find, I mean, I like all three positions that we do, but this is a shortened version because I think you want a longer Shavasana. So let's do it. All right. I like to press the foot into a hand or the block. And then you decide where you need to go to get your best stretch. And then come up. Yeah, the quadricep stretch feels good on that, doesn't it? Come up and take your blanket. So this out comes off the stack, open it here. And if you're using a beach towel, that works well too. Fold the blanket. I'm going to do thirds, right? So it's in this one long strip. And then with the fringe away from me, I'm making a roll of about maybe a third of the way up. I'm not rolling it all the way because that's going in your belly. Then the fringe goes away from me. The roll goes here. And unless you've had recent abdominal surgery, so you're placing it right above the pubic bone in between the two hip bones below the belly button, right in the breadbasket there. Is that what we call the breadbasket, or is that up here? Can't remember. I don't know the anatomical placement of the breadbasket. Then you may want, if putting your head down on your stacked hands is not what you want, you can place the forehead on a block. Widen the feet about mat width apart. Oh yeah. And this can be excruciating. I'm hearing some huffing and puffing out there. Try to relax into it. Sometimes if I'm really tense, my first response is to run screaming from the room. Sarah, this is kind of like the ball work on the belly. Yeah. Yes, you can feel your butt pulse there. Absolutely. It's very weird. And then slowly just maybe rock to one side and the other, massaging into the ascending and the descending colon. Does this hurt you? Well, don't stay very long. Press off. Yeah. And then push back to a child's position or a puppy position. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's painful, but good. Roll over on your, let's see. Yeah, let's set up for a supported Baddha Konasana or some version of it, at least the back is. So we make that same lawn chair effect. I like a low block and a high and a middle block, and then put the bolster there. I like an extra blanket folded the narrow way, not right down to the bolster, but about 3 fingers away from where your hips will be. So it gives it a staircase. Then that gives you more room to make a nice roll under the neck that you will adjust there. The second blanket then, or if you have other blocks or other pillows, you can stick them under your, this is for supporting the thighs. Second blanket, or if you want to go get another blanket and do 2 separate rolls, make a long narrow roll. So you're opening it out, or you're putting it out there. This one? It's just one. I mean, yeah, it's baby hot dog. Yeah, there you go. Cocktail wafer, hot dog bun, right? Yeah, that's the. All right, and then I like the folded edge where my hips are going to be because it's more stable there. And then I'm creating a lift. Then this you adjust. I roll it, I tuck it under, but you can try tucking it another way. All right, Michelle, that blanket is a hot Texas mess, I'm telling you. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? All right, then your for your leg blanket, yes, what Michelle's doing, a nice roll up, but you can do what Sarah's doing is keep your legs long and maybe just put the roll under your knees. If you don't want the butterfly, now you can stay exactly where you, I can.
I'm sorry, my arms hang too long.
Well, you know what? The blocks work better for that. Those are your armrest. So you put, if anybody feels that that's happening, you feel how that just now supports you, let me know, I'll bring you armrest. But take some time to set up well. So if you're doing the bent knee, it's Baddha Konasana, otherwise go straight, whatever you want. All right, I'll show you. Hang on. That's all right. No. If it's just the butterfly. So if you do this, but if your knees are bothering you, keep them straight. You can do that, tuck this under, and that supports you. But if it's bothering your knees, I would say straighten out or get another blanket to do 2 rolls. Yeah. Michelle, I'm going to give you 2 blankets here in a second. So you guys at home, just settle in any way that feels yummy. Here, I'm going to do 2. This up and put that there. Isn't that better?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't have to have your feet close to your hips at all. They can be quite a ways away. Or the legs can be straight. Sarah, do you want a bolster under your knees?
That would be awesome.
It's Christmas, honey. Anybody want anything else? Another blanket, more blocks?
Thank you so.
So, a what? Sure, baby. Let me go pop it. So I see that there. So you can, if you want that. If not, you can still crush your arms, but it's just less strained. Everybody as happy as they can be.
Happy baby.
If you need an extra blanket on top of you, please let me know. And you go, oh yeah, go way dark. So I have turned it way dark for you guys. I'm right here still. And you settle in. The only way to know dark is to go dark. The lights against these winter nights are beautiful. But it is our way of saying, I just don't want to go to the dark yet. So after Wednesday, the days begin to get longer. We go back into the light. So take these few next days to enjoy the dark. Which another way of saying is to do less, to not get caught up in the holiday crazies to the best of your ability. Begin to deepen your breath. And begin movement at the periphery, the fingers and the toes, hands and feet, stretching arms and legs. Any sort of movements that feel delicious. And then slowly come to seated. Sit well. Put your palms together in front of your heart center. Namaste.
Namaste.